Fear is a powerful, primal emotion that keeps us alive. It's designed to protect us from danger, to alert us when something isn't quite right. But what happens when fear isn't linked to an immediate, tangible threat? What happens when we live with a fear we can't identify, a fear that lingers in the background, yet influences every decision we make? This is the essence of nameless fear, a vague, undefined sense of unease that we can't quite pinpoint but can feel every day. It's the kind of fear that doesn't have a specific cause, yet impacts our behavior, thoughts, and interactions with others. It might not be as obvious as a phobia, but its effects can be just as powerful. Nameless fear is not the fear we feel when facing a snake or standing at the edge of a cliff. It's the unidentified fear that lurks just beneath the surface, affecting us in ways that we often cannot explain. It doesn't have a clear source or an obvious trigger, but it's always present, subtly influencing our thoughts, behaviors, and reactions. Unlike a specific phobia, where the object of fear is obvious, nameless fear feels unclear and shapeless. We don't know what we're afraid of, but we sense it in every area of our lives. Nameless fear often manifests as generalized anxiety. You might not know why you're anxious, but you feel on edge, restless, or uneasy most of the time. This type of fear often shows up as a constant feeling of tension or dread, but without any specific trigger. It's like carrying an invisible weight that you can't get rid of. At its core, nameless fear is often rooted in deep psychological processes that have yet to be fully acknowledged. This can include unresolved past trauma, subconscious beliefs, or existential dread, the fear of meaninglessness, or the uncertainty of the future. It's a fear that isn't always rooted in something tangible, but rather in unconscious thoughts and feelings that we may not even be aware of. Past traumatic events, even those that we may have suppressed or forgotten, can leave us with a lingering sense of fear. These fears are often so deeply embedded in the subconscious that we don't consciously remember the event, but our bodies still react as though we are in danger. The fear of the unknown, especially when it comes to our future or our ability to control our destiny, can create a nameless, vague anxiety. This fear is amplified when we feel a lack of direction or purpose in our lives. The fear of mortality, the meaninglessness of existence, or the vastness of the universe can all contribute to nameless fear. These existential questions can evoke feelings of deep unease that we may struggle to articulate, but that haunt us nonetheless. Nameless fear can affect nearly every aspect of our lives, from how we handle relationships to how we approach our careers or personal growth. Because it is undefined, it is often misdirected or poorly understood, leading to feelings of frustration and helplessness. Nameless fear can cause us to avoid getting close to others, either emotionally or physically. We might push people away, even when we desire connection, because of an unconscious fear of vulnerability or rejection. Many people with nameless fear experience imposter syndrome, the belief that they don't deserve their achievements or success. This fear often arises from an internalized belief that they are not truly worthy of love, success, or happiness, even when they have evidence to the contrary. Nameless fear can paralyze us from making decisions or taking actions that would lead to personal growth. The fear of the unknown, of stepping out of our comfort zone, can keep us stuck in our old patterns, even when we know they no longer serve us. Many people with nameless fear unknowingly sabotage their own efforts. They might procrastinate, avoid opportunities, or second-guess themselves because deep down, they fear they will fail or be exposed as inadequate. Nameless fear often shows up in professional settings as feelings of inadequacy or fraudulence. You might feel that you don't deserve your job, title, or recognition, even though logically, you know you've earned it. A pervasive fear of failure can prevent us from taking risks or pursuing new opportunities. We become so afraid of falling short of expectations that we fail to reach our full potential. Sarah, a successful lawyer, often feels a vague sense of unease every time she enters her office. Despite her achievements, she constantly fears that she doesn't belong there. She's not sure where this fear comes from, but it's always there, lurking in the background. This nameless fear affects how she interacts with her colleagues, hesitating to share ideas or make decisions, fearing that someone will find out she's not really qualified. Nameless fear doesn't often scream for our attention. Instead, it works subtly, controlling our actions and decisions through a deep-seated sense of unease. It often shows up as avoidance, distrust, and self-sabotage, but we rarely connect it to fear. Because it's vague, nameless fear can be difficult to address, but its impact is undeniable. Nameless fear often leads to overthinking. We can get caught in a cycle of questioning and doubting, unsure of which decision is right or safe. This can lead to procrastination or indecision, ultimately preventing us from taking action. In an attempt to manage this overwhelming fear, we may try to control every aspect of our lives. This desire for control is often a subconscious response to the fear of the unknown or the unpredictability of the future. Nameless fear can cause us to withdraw from relationships, avoiding emotional intimacy or connection. We may feel afraid that we will be rejected, abandoned, or criticized, even when there is no evidence to support these fears. This fear can lead to unnecessary conflict in relationships. We might project our insecurities onto others, assuming they think less of us or that they will eventually figure us out. John's nameless fear manifests in his professional life. Though he is a brilliant software engineer, he hesitates to speak up in meetings. Constantly worried that his colleagues will discover he's not as capable as they think. This fear prevents him from fully contributing to team discussions and from seeking the leadership opportunities he deserves. The first step in overcoming nameless fear is acknowledging its existence. Often we push these feelings aside, dismissing them as anxiety or stress. But without understanding the true source, we can't heal. Once we recognize that these feelings are a form of unconscious fear, we can begin to unpack their origins. Practicing mindfulness helps bring our fears into conscious awareness. By noticing when fear arises, we can stop and assess whether it's truly based on reality or if it's rooted in past experiences or worries about the future. Writing about our feelings can help us trace the origins of our fear. When we express our emotions through writing, we gain clarity about what's really driving us, and this can be the key to addressing the fear. Working with a therapist can help uncover the deeper roots of nameless fear. Through guided self-exploration, we can identify unconscious beliefs or past traumas that might be influencing our current emotional state. Overcoming nameless fear requires being kind to ourselves. We must accept that fear is a natural part of being human and that it doesn't define us. Practicing self-compassion helps us reduce the power that fear holds over us. Once we've identified the source, we must confront it. This might mean addressing past trauma, challenging limiting beliefs, or embracing uncertainty and imperfection. Anna, who has lived with nameless fear for most of her life, begins to notice its patterns. She decides to start journaling to explore her feelings and realizes that much of her fear stems from her childhood experiences of neglect. With the help of therapy and mindfulness, she begins to heal her past wounds and steps into a life that feels more authentic and fulfilling. Nameless fear is a subtle yet powerful force that shapes our thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. It affects every aspect of our lives, from our relationships to our careers, and it can hold us back from reaching our true potential. But by acknowledging and confronting this fear, we can begin to heal, grow, and live with greater clarity and confidence. If you've recognized nameless fear in your life, don't wait to address it. Start by bringing awareness to your feelings and practicing mindfulness. Begin to explore the sources of your fear and take steps to heal and move forward. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel to continue exploring strategies for overcoming fear, building emotional resilience, and stepping into your authentic self. Because when you face your fear, you unlock the true power within you.